It's a goal! Can you believe it? It's extraordinary.
What a weekend for South Australian footy, and we take a look at a couple of guns, underrated guns, having a huge impact this year. Malcolm Blight's going to join us, and we go for a drive with a Crows legend. It's all coming up on your home for footy in South Australia. You're watching Footy SA. Good evening and welcome to another massive edition of Footy SA. A great weekend if you're a Port Adelaide and Adelaide fan. The Crows back. Vernie Vince is along for the ride. He's pretty happy today because your old mob, they're going all right.
Going all right, aren't they?
Finally.
It's 2 weeks in a row that both SA teams have won, so exciting times.
A couple of big games coming up, starting on Friday night. We'll look at that a little bit later on the show. Port Adelaide taking on Collingwood at Marvel Stadium. Let's get into the Kia big moments from the weekend. The V6 twin-turbo Kia Stinger is the Western Australian car of the year. Was all nearly good news for Port Adelaide until Sunday when it was revealed that Robbie Gray broke his hand. He's had surgery, set to miss a month of footy. We think that is where he did it. Bernie, he wasn't exactly sure after the game, but it's a huge blow, despite the fact that he hasn't been in great form.
Yeah, I know it's a big setback for such an important player to the Port Adelaide lineup. So hopefully it's just a 3 or 4 week injury and he's back out there and he can work on a few things. He can still keep his fitness up, I guess, is the positive with a hand injury. So good luck to him in his recovery. Yeah,
just the 6 goals from 6 games for Robbie Gray. Hasn't been in the best form, but's been carrying that shoulder injury. Look, I think Stephen Motlop probably comes back in. He spent a fortnight in the Sandford. Yep. You'd think he's the most likely to replace him. I feel like we've spoken about this guy a lot, Connor Rozee, but he's on the agenda again. He's our Kia big moment number 2. How good was he on Friday night again?
He was outstanding. He's, for a first-year player, he just keeps... I keep thinking, all right, that's as good as he can get, but he keeps surprising me, and some of the things he can do is just unbelievable. So certainly great signs for Port Adelaide fans.
Bit of debate about Walsh at Carlton, who went number 1, Connor Rozee, who went at number 5, and who's going to have the bigger career. I'm firmly in the Rozee camp.
You started that. You've started that.
And your mate Tex jumped on.
You're claiming it. Everyone's jumped on, and you started it. But I tend to agree with you. I think he's a real match winner. Walsh, obviously very consistent inside ball winner, but it's you know, I don't know. You can't tell. We need to have a look in a few years. Yeah,
let's take a look at how it all came about with Port Adelaide getting that number 5 pick. Remember, they traded up to get him. They wanted the best South Australians. They got him. There's the outs. And there's some big names. There was some criticism regarding the departure of Chad Wingard. A lot of changes, a lot of youth coming in, and it's paying massive dividends, Ben.
Oh, massive. The ins far outweigh the outs, that's for sure. So Port Adelaide recruiting staff, big tick, took a risk, and it's certainly paid off with getting players like Rozee in.
Now, everyone's jumped on this man for Kia big moment number 3, but we've got to wind the tape back to episode number 1. Yes. And I reckon you discovered him, and now they're all raving about him, but Alex Keith was... I thought he was the Crows' best. We'll wait for your votes on Saturday, but... what a story.
Oh, great story. Obviously an ex-cricketer, Victorian cricketer. And
that's why you loved him.
Well, that's why you thought I loved him. I saw his talent. I predicted what he was going to be like the next few weeks, but just his intercept marking ability has been unbelievable. He reads the play well for someone who's got a cricketing background. He just knows footy. And yes, I did. I found him and I'm claiming him.
Good, because they lost Lever to Melbourne, your old mob. Then they lose Duday to an injury. Now they discover Keith. And have a look at that. 24 intercept marks. He leads the league.
Leading the competition, and 14 marks in total on the weekend and 6 intercept marks. So, and he's leading the competition, which is outstanding for someone of his calibre.
And probably winning the Malcolm Blight medal right now if the vote was to finish after 6 rounds. The Crows have struggled in the forward line previous to the last 2 weeks, but the ball movement up the ground's been sensational. If we take a look at some of the marks they took inside 50, 17 of them, which was a season
17.
high on Saturday.
Yep. Yeah, that's big, isn't it? I think when the Crows are at their best, they're taking a lot of marks inside 50. So
that's a packed mark.
That is, and you've been screaming out for that, and he's delivered. But the forwards must be just loving the ball movement at the moment, because that is what is creating these marks inside 50. Is that clean rebounding slingshot footy off half back, and they're winning the around the contest as well, which is allowing them to get the ball in quick and the forwards to be one out.
Yep. Would you play Jenkins? He went back for the second week in the sample. He kicked 3. Or were you happy with Himmelberg, who kicked his 2 and played his role on Saturday?
I thought Himmelberg was very good. What do you do?
Come on, don't sit on the fence. Do you bring Jenkins back in?
I'm playing Himmelberg again because he played his role and kicked 2 goals. What are you doing?
I'm in the Jenkins camp.
Oh,
I think he's too good to be playing sample footy. I'd be bringing him back in. But there's the numbers, because in 2017, that was their absolute strength. First in the competition for marks inside 50. Dipped away last year to only 9, and then the first month of the season this year they were just averaging 9. So great to see the ball used up the field, resulting in those 17 marks inside 50, and the Crows forwards feasted off that. They were our big moments. Time now to get to Bernie at the Plasma for the Kia Top 7. We love this. It's our favourite part of the show. It's all thanks to Kia, home to Australia's best 7-year factory warranty. Usually lines me up in this segment. Hopefully I'm off the hook today. What did you discover?
We'll wait and see, but you deserve everything you get, mate. So I'm going to start with one of your fans, actually. Now, this bloke here's just gone too far. Have you ever put glitter in your beard?
No, that's passion.
That's not even that's blue.
They're a good
Port
bunch.
Adelaide aren't blue,
They're
mate.
a good
They're
bunch.
not blue.
Oh, what about your mate?
Craig used to talk about this, the curl of the mo.
Your mate.
He's just listening to an ex-coach. Well done.
Gee whiz.
What do we got? Oh, Dersma.
The Arrow.
Your mate, the Arrow. He's making a real thing of this. This reminds me of Mark Williams.
Yes.
No,
it's better than that.
The shocker. It's better.
Yep, it's better.
He's added a bit. And
Nick.
this is, speaking of your ex-teammates.
Nick. And Gavin.
Gavin Wanganeen. Well, they're doing Tai Chi. There's more to do in China than this sort of crap. And this is school formal type stuff, you know. You're trying to sneak it in, but in a sandwich, in a see-through bag, that's not good. Now, what about this?
Can I have your thoughts on this?
You know, this is his quote. I'm giving the people what they want to see, and what they want to see is my rig.
He's getting ahead of himself.
He's getting way ahead of himself. But when I delved in, you made me put these up. You said, well, if he's going to do that and it's about rigs, get me on there. Have a look at this rig. I am the man. That's what you told me.
See, I thought I'd escaped for the first time this year, and I thought, who could top Murphy for the #1? Well, you found it. So well done, well played. But there is payback coming a little bit later on in the show, directed at that man there. So stay tuned for it. We've got a huge show coming up. Port Adelaide's secret weapon. We're going to take a look at just who it might be and who is the man in line for his first All-Australian selection, coming up right here on Footy SA. Hope you're enjoying your evening right here on Channel 9. You are watching Footy SA. Now, Bernie, I'm not sure if the All-Australian selectors watch this show, but I hope they do, because it's time they started to take notice of this man, a Port Adelaide defender, having an enormous season. His name is Tom Cleary. He's 25 years of age. He's been around for a while, but he destroyed Ben Brown on Friday night. Now, this is the guy who kicked 61 goals last year, Ben Brown, second in the Coleman. Tom Cleary kept him goalless, and it's not only his defensive capabilities. I love this about him. So he spoils there, his follow-up work is sensational, and there's not really a weakness in his game. So he's good defensively. He's strong in the air, as we're going to see here. Just have a look at that. Backs himself in, gets to the front position, marks the footy, and then off he goes. This is also what I love about his game. How about the composure? The kick inside. Now, that goes to Travis Boak. We're going to speed this up because you've got to have a look at the result of this play from Cleary. The kick inside results in Boak, his enormous work rate, getting on the end of it and kicking another goal for Port Adelaide. Once again, we'll see it here. Backs himself in, flies for his marks. He's a star, and right now, he's the All-Australian back pocket after 6 weeks. And it's time that Melbourne and the All-Australian selectors took note of him. Tom Cleary is a genuine star. Now, Bernie, another star is Travis Boak. He won the Peter Badco medal. I know you spoke about him a couple of weeks ago and lauded his work rate, but he was up to his old tricks again.
Oh, he was, mate, and he just looks rejuvenated, fresh. He looks like he's a 22, 23-year-old running around out there, but back in the midfield, finding a lot of the footy. I touched on his work rate the other day. He has been unbelievable.
Yep.
He'd be in the midfield of the All-Australian team right now. And get back to your question. Everyone watches that show, mate. So they'll be watching. Don't worry about that.
Well, they better, and the umpires might be watching as well, because Travis Boak is a proven vote getter in the Brownlow medal, and I reckon he's probably featured in at least 4 out of the 6 games.
We'll have to ask Brownie his odds a bit later.
We'll have to ask Brownie.
He's done his homework.
And plays game number 250 on Friday night.
Does he really?
Another milestone. And Justin Westhoff for Port fans, 255 draws level with Warren Treadray, second all-time at Port Adelaide. Let's take a look at the votes, because both of those men probably going to feature for Repco, your local mechanic with the nationwide backing of Repco. Book your next car service at repcoservice.com. This is how I saw it burn. Travis Boak, clearly the best player on the ground. Sam Gray, isn't he having a fortnight?
Yeah, he kicked a few goals on them.
Kick 4, 28. That's 6 goals in 2 weeks. Rosie, that man. Howard, I thought, in the backline, sensational as well. And Tom Cleary getting the 1 vote for Repco. Any complaints?
No complaints there, mate. Sam Gray, he's a really good pressure forward, isn't he? Kicked 4 on the back of some really good forward pressure. I like him.
Gets plenty of it too. 28 disposals and 4 goals on Friday night. Righto, Malcolm Blight joins us each and every week, and we love this. It's all thanks to Amy. Lucky you're in Blighty's Hall of Fame, and lucky you're with Amy. Time now to induct the Port Adelaide and Carlton legend, everyone's favourite.
Craig Bradley has played the most senior games in the senior leagues around Australia than anybody else. 473 games. Can you believe it? I noticed the name Bradley playing for Port Adelaide, obviously Craig, but I'd also watched a Bradley play at the Woodville Football Club where I grew up, called Lionel. That was his dad. So the genes were really good. What a wonderful player, a running machine, great skills. Played in premiership sides everywhere, best and fairest, all Australians. Won medals in interstate games. And that brings me to the interstate game. When I was captain of South Australia, we played Western Australia in Perth. Craig Bradley was the driving force and won the medal. I mean, I did happen to play full forward and kick 6 goals 6, but that's another story.
This lets in Craig Bradley. Bradley going around the boundary line. Spreads out to the right. Oh, nice, put it through. What a superb goal.
Carlton won the premiership in 1995, and Craig was very much part of that. I'd taken a year off from coaching, so I actually was in the media. So I had many opportunities to watch this wonderful player perform his stuff. There's no doubt when Port Adelaide came into the competition, the first person they would have talked to was Craig Bradley to try and get him to come back home and perform for them. He stuck thick with Carlton, and good on him, and in the end it worked out pretty well. Craig Bradley, welcome to Blighty's Hall of Fame.
What an absolute star, Craig Bradley, the 6th player inducted into Blighty's Hall of Fame. For those that have missed the previous episodes, let's take a look at the inductees so far. There it is, Wanganeen Hart, my old man McLeod, Robran and Bradley. And Bernie, not sure if that was a story about Craig Bradley or Blighty.
Well, I was, in the meantime, I was just taking notes on how many times he spoke about himself, and I got to 7. Yeah. And that's up there with you. You somehow got a mention of yourself about, was it Travis Boak's 250th or something?
No,
You got your, because second all time.
Yeah, I didn't mention anyone.
Yeah, but everyone knows that, you made about yourself.
I'm
noted that, I'm writing that down too.
I'm just waiting for Blighty to induct himself into his own Hall of Fame. Stay with us, stick around, Crows fans and footy fans. We have a South Australian legend, an absolute larrikin. We're going to go back in time and hear some of his amazing stories. That's coming up on Footy SA, right here, next. You are watching Footy SA. We're doing it all thanks to Kia, home to Australia's best 7-year warranty and OTR, making life easy. Bernie loves a bit of plasma time. He's back there for the OTR takeaway. Kick goals and tackle life problems close to the siren with OTR and their 24-hour convenience. Adelaide's ball movement much better the last fortnight. A lot better the last fortnight. I want to just touch on why I think they're doing this, or where the improvements come from. And it's been off the turnover, the slingshot, but you have a look at the contest. They're winning the contest. Pause it here. That's big. A 50-50 ball. Now you watch this contest. Bang. Nearly goes out of bounds. Gives it. And if we speed, I think it speeds up here in a minute. And the end result is, this is how the ball's getting in to the Adelaide forwards. Yep.
one-on-one contest. All you want as a forward is a one-on-one contest. And if you move the ball in like this, have a look at what it creates. But they're winning the ball in the contest. Look at this. St Kilda actually win this ball. Keep playing.
The pressure.
It's paused for a bit long there, but look at the pressure. Brad Crouch, tackle. Look at this. This is what creates contest, one-on-one contest. Look at it's not even a contest. It's one out. Walker marks it over the back. And that's why Walker, Betts, Himmelberg, Murphy even popping up are kicking goals, because Adelaide are winning it at the contest.
Outstanding, tough midfield, one-on-one contest. That's why it's so important. That's why we rave on about contested footy. Josh Jenkins spent his second week in the Sandville. Let's have a look at some of his vision. He kicked 3 goals. There's a little cheapie that he got, but he spoke about his work rate, much improved. His defensive action was good. I think you need to bring him back in, Bernie, but you're convinced that Himmelberg has done enough to stay in?
I feel like he's done enough, but are they the 3 goals he kicked?
Yep.
You think he's done enough?
Well, you've got to watch the whole picture. I mean, everyone's critical of the goals that are from close range. It's the work up the field and he gets back inside 50. So
yeah, I just think when they do pick he's in their best 22. I just think when they pick him, he needs to be in really good form. You don't want to come in, tread water for a while and then go back out.
It was tough to get in the votes for Adelaide on Saturday against St Kilda. Let's take a look at Bernie's votes for Repco, your local mechanic with nationwide backing of Repco. Book your next service at repcoservice.com.
Another tough week, Kane, to pick the best 5, but I thought Brodie Smith was best on ground. That's 2 weeks in a row for him. Walker with 4 goals was outstanding.
No Rory Laird.
Nah, he didn't do enough on. There was too many to pick
33
from.
at 88%.
Yeah, but didn't do enough for me, mate.
You're tough.
And my man Alex Keith was in there with 6 intercept marks and 14 in total.
There's the leaderboard. Bernie loves Brad Crouch. Travis Boakey's coming. Matt Crouch are roundabouts. Rory hasn't got a vote for a couple of weeks, nor has Tom Rockcliffe. We love this part of the show. The first week, we're going to drive down memory lane with a legend, and we're going to go to one of the biggest characters in football. It is the Kia drive down memory lane, home to Australia's best 7-year factory warranty. He's a character.
I'm about to catch up with the man with the magic hands, the one and only Andrew Jarman.
Hey, Rhett. How you going?
What are you doing?
I just got lost. She said meet here somewhere.
Mate, are you ready for the Kia drive down memory lane?
Well, I am, mate.
Oh, to delve into your footy past.
Let's go.
You beauty. I'll be your chauffeur.
Right, nice. Look out.
It's a copper.
Oh, Rhett, you nearly ran over a cop.
Thanks, mate.
Pleasure,
Kia
mate.
drive down memory lane.
Yeah.
This is the one I've been looking forward to.
Oh, good on you, mate.
And the punters at home love it.
Oh, I love the punters.
But they want to know everything. They want to go right back
do
to the
they?
start.
Do they?
What's the earliest memory of playing football of yours?
I reckon when I was 6 years old at the Holden Hill Primary School, Rhett.
Yeah.
Single mother on her own with 4 of us. And just a smart ass bloody
Yeah, I was going to say.
you know, strutted around at 6, 7 years old.
Well, if we go back to the start of the Crows,
Yeah.
1990, 1991, the old It's Too Bright to Wear Shades days.
Yeah, wasn't it?
You were the icon pin-up boy of the club.
No.
What about the formation of the Crows?
Well, it was extraordinary because I'd signed a 3-year deal with Norwood after leaving North 89. I got married that year, end of 89, and I was gone for about 3 or 4 months. And then I came back overweight and unfit, and I let Norwood down back in 90, Brett. I reckon I let him down. We didn't play finals. I hurt my knee in the last couple of games. And I vowed that I'm going to come back super fit for the following year. But then there was talk about the Crows.
Yeah.
And then I got a phone call from Bob Hammond. We'd like to meet and talk and discuss that we're going to form an AFL side. I was like, what? And before you know it, I was in Bob Hammond's supermarket on Main North Road, Clemsick, in his freezer with Neil Curley and Bob Hammond, because everything had to be quiet. So I've gone to his shop, I think it was Franklin's back in the day, wasn't it? Bobby Hammond, something like that.
Yeah.
And I said to the lady, can I go to, where's Bob Hammond's office? She goes, oh no, you got to go through the butcher department and go in the freezer. So I've opened the freezer door and like we're in Russia. I felt like, and there's Bob Hammond and Knuckles sitting on this table with gloves on and Mikhail Gorbachev looked like. So honestly, Rhett, that's where I signed my contract. And then, as you know, it evolved, being a Crows player, and then that first game against Hawthorn was a special moment that you'll never forget. 27 degrees, and I can remember it was a beautiful night. You could hear the crowd starting to get a little bit rumbly. And then I could smell these bloody hot chips and vinegar woof past the race. And this is a true story. I was third in line to run out, and Bones just turned around as our skipper, and he gave us this magnificent speech. I don't think I can remember much of it because I was thinking about these, Jesus, hot chips and vinegar. Now, that's true. I tell that story.
Footy theme songs are rippers,
Yeah.
aren't they? We
They
love
are.
to belt out the Richmond Tigers song. I just
Yeah.
love their song.
You do, yeah.
But we've got to belt one out
All right.
for Kia. So
Yeah.
you pick it and you start us off.
All right.
Who are you going with?
I'm going to go for It's a Great, Great Club.
It's a club we love.
With a
It's the
good old red and white. Woo! Mighty Roosters, we're called. Call for one, one for all. And we're down, we fight, fight, fight. Woo! Go the Roosters.
Except when they cheat with the 19th
Oh,
man.
I knew you were going to say that. Drop me off here.
Well done to you, Jars. You don't go away empty-handed. The prize pack, the Dometic Icebox. Keep things cool with the Dometic CI 42-litre Icebox. Dometic, mobile living made easy, magnificent. The hip pocket workwear and safety wear. They got you covered. Jars will love these. And FXD, function by design. And the OTR hamper, fuel and hydration for game day, plus a few snacks for the game on review, all thanks to OTR. Brownie loves his snacks too.
Oh,
Look
he
at him.
does.
He's ready to go. He's been eating snakes over there.
I'm a big snack eater, to be honest, Kane. Thanks very much. And time for Sportsbet odds update. Couple of interesting games, a couple of big games for the two Adelaide sides. Let's get straight into it. Now, the Magpies, Friday night, up against Power. I believe the Magpies are way too short here. Very, very good odds there for the Port Power. Going well. I had Port in my top four a couple of weeks ago. They lost to Richmond. I was a bit disappointed, but then they've bounced back. Well, to the Crows, they're very short too. That must be said. Very short against a side that's going very, very well. I reckon around $1.50 is probably the price. So I'm not saying it's going to drift, but it might. But they are going okay. But then the following week, have a look at the showdown. I thought I'd show you all week in advance. I looked at these odds today and I couldn't believe that the Crows were the favourites. I think Power should be the favourites, and you're almost getting $2 for Port next week. That'll obviously change when both sides play. But let's roll through. Top four, both sides here. Port Adelaide, I still think they're a big chance to play top four. $3.50 is a pretty good price. Adelaide, they're as far as $12 only a couple of weeks ago before they had those winners. And then the top eight, $1.50, $1.65 for both sides. A lot of money to invest for something that's not going to come out about 18 weeks' time, but I thought I'd show you anyway. Sam Walsh, Connor Rosie,
$6.
closing the gap every week. He was 17, he was 11, he was 7. He is now 6. Don't think anybody else can win it. Playing pretty good footy, Jack Ross, but $1.45, pretty too much short for me to be backing. Sandfield Premiership, Norwood, 5 and zip. Can anyone beat them, Kane?
Nope.
No. Very good. That's what I wanted to hear because I've had a crack at them. And then I think our 12-up promo, Carlton Hawthorn. I've been a big fan of Carlton's. They got out to a big start, paid them out at quarter time, about $800,000, and then Hawthorn come back and win. Bit over $1 million. We paid both sides out. Everybody was a winner for the Blues and the Hawks. Good luck. Try and not upset anyone this week and gamble responsibly.
Very quiet week on my end this week. Thanks, Brownie. Coming up, this man next to me did something extraordinary last night. Couldn't believe my eyes. You're watching Footy SA. Time now for our Sandfield update. It is heating up. Buy a Balfour's Pie for a Sandfield ticket. There's the results. Glenelg on fire. Norwood going along nicely as well. Adelaide had a nice win. Jenkins kicked 3. Port Adelaide also. And South Adelaide, the victors there. And Bernie, you want to take a look at the ladder? It's Norwood clearly on top.
Yeah, and my boys, Woodville West Time's been a good side for a long time. Just battling a little
What
bit
is
at the moment.
happening?
But your boys, Glenelg, surprise packet.
And North Adelaide in 10th on -2. So work
yes,
that
I forgot
out with
about
the
that.
penalties for last year.
I didn't notice that.
Buy a Balfour's
That was
Pie
against my
for a
boys.
Sandfield ticket. Visit balfours.com.au/Norwood. There you go, and we're wearing a couple of nice little beanies because it's a great cause, something that your old club has made their own. They take on Hawthorn. Buy one of these and the money goes to...
BCNA, mate.
There you go.
Saturday afternoon, Hawthorn at Melbourne.
We've run out of time. Don't have time to show the thing that you got up to yesterday. But
Good.
don't worry, tune in
Good.
next week. I will not
Just
miss this
get
man
rid of it.
next to me. Port Adelaide
Get
take
rid of
on
it.
Collingwood. Who wins?
I think Port can win in an upset.
Really?
Yeah, Collingwood very gettable at the moment.
Yeah, I think Collingwood win. And Adelaide?
Adelaide win.
Adelaide win. That was Footy SA for another week. We'll be back on Monday. Have a great week, everyone.